For those of you who are watching and not just listening, I think you can tell we're going to have a great conversation if you look at our guest's background, because he's got just a couple bottles, and that is what we do here on Bar Conversations. We have great conversations, good drinks, and talk about some good music as well. And let's just get to it because I'm excited to talk to our next guest. He's a singer-songwriter. His new album, Rest of My Life, is out now, and it's fantastic. You need to give it a listen. So let's welcome in Dave Fenley.
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes I'm always curious if my guests enjoy a good drink or not. I mean, as we say, there's many different bars out there. There's the coffee bar. There's, the soda bar, whatever, ever. But
Sure.
I think you have a bourbon bar because you have a little bit of a collection behind you. So,
Yeah, it's a
what you drinking tonight?
t today, tonight. I've actually had some incredible pours today. I went to a really great bourbon experience, but today I've decided to go with the Old Carter Batch 16 Rye. It was one of my favorite pours from 2025, and when I was trying to look around, all the stuff behind me is like the unopened so far, and over here I've got my opens, and I was like, man, let me just see what I feel like. And today it was the one calling my name.
I like it. I like it. Now, looking at the bottles behind you, I picked one that I was like, well, I think I know he's got a couple of these. So I went with a rare character single barrel series.
Yes.
So
Which one is that?
this is the Benny's Beverage Depot.
Yeah, I got that one somewhere, I think. But yeah, what a beautiful choice.
So I went with a rye whiskey because I'm a rye guy, and also I need to be careful because it's coming in at 122 proof. So
Yeah, rare character does not mess around. I don't think they do. They don't know how to proof anything down. It's wonderful.
not at all. Now, looking at that collection behind you, how big has your collection grown? How'd you get into bourbon?
Um, I kind of fell into it recently. I would say it's a 2 year thing that. So they always kind of say you have your journey of you find the couple that you like, and then you start looking for the special things you can afford, and then you start to just get everything you can, and then you finally start to realize, okay, I've got too much, and you start to try to sell them off. So I'm at that point where I'm trying to get rid of some things now because it's overtaken. I had what was called a music room, and you can see it's quickly become a music room with a bourbon problem.
I mean, that's a good problem to have in my book, but that's just me.
Exactly. No, I love it. I don't really know how I got into it directly. I kind of started trying to find something I didn't like, and I think that's why it's grown to such a level is because I haven't really found many that don't find some way of exciting me. I know that I prefer single barrels, and I don't love things that are finished whiskeys all that much. I do love just to see what wood and time can do to mash bill.
I like it. I like now. Are you a guy that has to always drink it neat? Do you throw a couple ice cubes, make a cocktail, or just it depends on the moment?
No, I mean I love it. I love it all. Sometimes if it's really if it drinks like it's proof, I'm not afraid of an ice cube to calm it down. I love a good old fashioned, just like the next guy. I don't like them super sweet. I will usually ask for half syrup or something like that. But yeah, when I'm out on the town or something, yeah, a good old fashioned is just the way to go.
Now, as that collection has grown, do you put that in your rider or anything that like, hey, you got to get me at least like a local bourbon any show I go to, or is there anything in there for the bourbon collection?
You know, I that's a really good question. I wish I would have thought of that also, but however, like I've been the person who like loves to read writers and see how extravagant people get, and I kind of always said I'm never going to be that guy. So if I do, I'll just say it's because of this other person on the team. But for me, I already have a gluten allergy and gluten sensitivity, so I already feel like I'm being a butthead by asking people to cater to my dietary needs.
That is fair. That is fair. And now, so do you enjoy any other drinks? I mean, or is it pretty much just bourbon right now? Is kind of your main thing?
Well, I think I feel like I'm so typical right now because all of a sudden I'm starting to find these añejos and these repos and oh my gosh, I had one today that was just incredible. I also had something today I'd never had before. I had a mezcal that had uh, iguana and venison and something else infused. and it was so crazy. And it was like a 99. It won. It was submitted for whatever it was, Mezcal of the Year, and it almost won. So I mean, it was a really crazy day today.
Well, it sounds like you had a good day, and I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I got to drink some Dusties. I got to drink a 1994 Blanton's Takara Black from 1994 that was incredible. Yeah, it was a good day.
I was gonna say that I love that, and if you're looking for an even cooler thing, because I'm like you, you're going down my journey on the bourbon path. I'm maybe a year or two ahead of you, thanks
Sure.
to this show. But I hit the reposados and the añejos because someone was like, "We got a 36-month bourbon barrel aged tequila. Do you want to try that?" I'm like, "Absolutely,"
Yep.
and it blew my mind. And on the show a little while ago, we had a Mexican whiskey that is basically think you got the tequila that's finished in a bourbon barrel, then you dump it, and then you put brand new corn whiskey in it and age it that way. And it's Alta whiskey, Mexican whiskey, and it was a wild ride.
Really?
Yeah,
Did you like it? I mean, of course you liked it, right?
I
Or
enjoyed it. It was different. Like it was one that going in, I was like, I don't know about this, but coming out, I was like, this was a fun one. I'm not going to drink it all the time. I'll be honest on that front, but it's fun. Like if I had you over, that'd be one I'd want to let you try because it's probably something you
yeah,
haven't had, and it
exactly.
gives you all the things though. You're like, I know that, and I know that. I didn't think they could 2 plus 2. I didn't think we were getting to
Yeah.
4 on this one.
Isn't it amazing what a little time and wood can do? Well, I guess that's why I like guitars too.
Well, that is true. That is true. Now, I also heard that you might be doing something special in the works around bourbon. Is that true? What can you tell me there? I don't know. I was told by someone that might be happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny that you were talking about Rare Character because I'm a big Rare Character fan. I love all their single barrel series. And so but if anybody out there, like you could show your bottle, it's like a beautiful billboard. And if you pick the barrel, you get to design the artwork. So as I was thinking about what I was going to do with my record when it came out, I was like, we're going to do a vinyl. It's my first ever vinyl. And I just got invited to do the Grand Ole Opry to have my debut. And so I was like, how do I capture all this into one cool thing? So I reached out to my friends at Rare Character and I was like, I love your stuff. They weren't my friends at the time, but they're my friends now. I reached out to them and I was like, I love your stuff. I love your approach and I love the artwork. Has anyone ever done an album release tied in? They said no. I said, I want to be the guy and I want to kind of team it up with you. I want to put my album cover on the bottle. I want to have it released with a vinyl, and I want to have it come out in celebration of my Opry debut. So they're like, what say less, right? So that's where we're at. So coming up in about a month, I say this is yeah, a month and a couple of days. June 27th is when I make my Opry debut, and so we're going to be doing some pre-sales of the new bourbon. It's a brand new barrel code. It's a Kentucky High Rye that I'm super excited about. So it's an incredible mash bill. It's beautifully flavored. The 150 something bottles and 9 year. It's going to be gorgeous.
I love that. So now, did you come up here? Because I asked that because I am based in Lexington, and I may know one or two of those rare character guys.
I'm sure you do. Unfortunately, I had to go by samples because it was just such a last minute Dave Fenley kind of decision. Because I'm one of those people who does not plan ahead, but I expect to be very quick execution on everything. And so it was just me going, hey, could this ever possibly happen? Make phone call, yes, but you have to just kind of get what you get. And I was like, I'll get what I get. I won't pitch a fit. Let's go. And so here we are, and I couldn't be more excited.
Well, I love that. I can't wait to learn more about that, and folks keep an eye out for that as well. And in addition to the bourbon thing, I know you're a big family guy. Is it true you married your wife, Amy Joyce, in late 2019 after a 3-week engagement?
Not not exactly.
I mean, that's
Uh,
going at that's with no other details, right?
sure. Um, it was very short. Like we both got divorced in 2019 and married again in 2019. It wasn't nefarious. Like it wasn't like a we found each other and then got. It was just perfect timing, God's timing, whatever you want to call it. But it was like July of 2019 that we found each other in this bar, which most of my songs are about boys who meet girls in bars. And this was no different. But we found each other there and we started kind of dating. And we had planned a wedding for March of 2020, but that's when COVID happened. But we didn't know COVID was going to happen, right? But it was just perfect timing. But early December, my wife and I were sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Hey, what do you have planned on December 28th?" And I was like, "Nothing." And she's like, "Want to get married then?" And so I was like, "Yes, absolutely," because all the rental fees of the venue, this, and people like, oh, we had to cancel all that. I was like, get all that deposit money back. Let's just go get married in a field. And that's what we did. So we went out to this free piece of land. We kind of hoped, I kind of thought maybe we'd get arrested, but we didn't. Bummer. Uh, and yeah, we just 3 weeks of not really having an idea of what we're going to do, but we just kind of threw it together. And that's been our life ever since.
Well, and I was reading up too because I joke when I say the 3 week engagement and all that. You had met her actually a while before all of that when you played, I believe, at her sister's engagement party and wedding. Is that when you guys first met back in the day?
Yeah, I had a buddy named Jim. It's a crazy story, but I'll tell you because you asked. Had a buddy named Jim. Jim starts dating a girl, and I play their first date. He brings her to my show for their first date. Well, that girl becomes his fiance, and that girl becomes his wife. And so I'm playing all these parts. I play their wedding. Well, her sister is my now wife. So I married my buddy's sister-in-law. I promise, we're all legal, and we're not from Arkansas. So
Hey, I cannot say much. My wife and I, my roommate, my buddy, married my wife's roommate, so it happened. It happens.
yeah,
Certain things just happen.
you know what? It's love. I mean, it's a crazy thing called love, right? But there's been million songs written about it, and no one's ever pinned down why it works. But I'm so glad we got it.
Well, and then you also have your girl dad. I'm a girl dad as well. What's life like as a girl dad?
Well, it's the first time I really felt like I understood God's love, unconditional love of a father. It's perfect. It's frustrating. It's graceless for you don't get thank yous, but it is so much fun to get to impart a little bit and try to be the guy that sets the example for the guy she's going to have to meet someday. Like I want to show her what a husband looks like, what a father looks like, what a man looks like, kind, forgiving, patient, all those things that she needs to look for in a partner. That's my job. So, and she's my little girl, she's 4, and she's incredible.
I was gonna say I'm up to she's 7 now, and just wait, the sass gets better, and no, it doesn't. The sass gets gets sassier, and
Yeah,
so do some of those low blows where you're like, oh, I love you, but ouch, that hurt.
yeah. When they go from being sassy to sassholes, yeah, that's something you get to really look forward to.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how those teenage years go around the house, but I've loved
Yeah.
every step of the way so far. And speaking of family, is it true your dad used to teach you harmonies in the car after baseball games?
Oh yeah, that was a big deal. In fact, my mom and dad are here right now at the house watching Annie while I'm doing this. But yeah, my dad and I would go to we'd play baseball, and then on the way back home from the games, we'd be singing all the songs on the radio, and we'd stay in the car and just keep singing until some song came on that we didn't like, and then we go in and have dinner. But yeah, my dad is a great singer. My mom is too. But we spent a lot of time singing around the house, and just music was always around.
I was gonna say, so basically, I'm guessing then that you were had a love of. Did you have a love then of music from the get go, or was it something that was just there and you're like, okay, I'll do it, or how was that?
I mean, the love of music was always present. The desire to make it was something that didn't really grab me until high school, really. I always sang in church and choirs and stuff, but actually the art of creation was very elusive, as it is to anybody. Like nobody knows how to write a song until you write a bunch of bad ones. Um, But going through that process of trying to navigate feelings and finding my outlet and then turning that outlet into something that girls liked and seeing that response, I was like, oh. And then going to college and realizing that I didn't really enjoy being a student. I love writing songs and I love, the way the girls respond, and I love drinking beer. Let's see if we can turn that into something. So drop out of school. My parents are listening and they're probably fuming all over again. Uh, and just move to California and try to see if I can cut it as a songwriter and any state that would have me. So
Well, I mean, you talk about though, playing, finding that love. I believe you fronted a rock band in the grunge era in high school, and of all places, Canada.
yeah, I mean, you don't get to always pick where you go to high school, but yeah, my father worked for an oil company up in Canada, so I was up there for a time, and I loved it. I would never take it or change those for anything because it really shaped a lot. And the Canadian music scene was so good up there at that time because the U.S. was all the Nirvana and Alice in Chains, and I love that so much. But up there, there was like a Canadian version. There's a band called Big Wreck, and there was uh, Our Lady Peace and I Mother Earth and all these bands that were kind of right there. And it was so fun to be part of that. So I was kind of in exploring my voice then and trying to write songs that were super emotional. And it was hilarious. We went through the worst band names of all time. Son of a Camouflage Butterfly. Like there was just so many that it was ridiculous.
But it's fun to look back on that, and I know you ended up in Canada for a little while, but you grew up in Texas. What impacted growing up in Texas and moving to Canada, in your teenage years, have on you both musically and personally?
I think it was a great growing up in Texas, I had access to all the country music you could ever imagine. But then you go to Canada, and country's not as popular. And my high school was a true melting pot. Like there was every ethnicity, every race, every religion, and so I had a lot more access to other worldly music, but also like that's when I really discovered like pop and different kind of things because you have what's right around you, and it was the era of the CD player. So it was just, hey, I got this CD, I got this CD, and just put them in your truck and jam it. I mean, but I was also into the heavy metal and all that stuff. It was just a really great time to grow up. I feel like the kids nowadays have access to so much that it's hard to find out what you really love. And we had access to so little, so we were constantly searching for everything, and it was so much fun.
I was gonna say I remember the days of trying to get on Napster and find a song and find all sorts of different things. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many times I would do the. Remember, have you ever heard of Columbia House? You know what that was?
Oh yeah, the CD house, buy 5 CDs for a penny. Next thing you know,
Yes.
you get a $100 charge.
Uh, I never did, but my parents certainly did, and they let me. I heard about that one for a while.
But you were able to get some CDs and listen to new stuff. And speaking of that, like, what did you grow up on? Obviously, you said because of where you were, you had so many different things when you're in Texas. Amazing country scene down there, Canada, kind of the melting pot. So, what music did you grow up on? Still has an impact on you to this day?
You know, I love country until like, and I love the soulful side of country, like the Ronnie Millsaps and stuff. Uh, I I didn't know how much I was gonna embrace the R&B world, and but when Boys to Men came out, man, that was it. Like I was like, I want to sing like them. I wanted to find people who knew how to sing songs like that, and I wanted to jump in. And then, as I got older, I kept looking at the origin of that, and I found, the Sam Cooks and the Otis Redding, the Percy Sledge, and then I found Ray Charles. Ray Charles was like this perfect blend of country and soul. Uh, and I think that's kind of where my steer the ship for what I was going to move towards. And then there was this blank period where nobody was interested in that kind of thing. You had to be country or you had to be, this or this. And then a guy named Chris Stapleton comes out and it's like, he's too soulful for country. And all of a sudden, radio's like, hold my beer. And then it was just, we're off to the races. Now there's a whole market. There's Teddy Swims who comes out, and there's these people that are just doing soulful, but not doing it the traditional way, and it opens some doors. And I'm really grateful for that because I think anybody who listens to my new album will be like, okay, I see soul, I hear it, and I also hear country, and I hear folk, and I hear influences of all of these things.
And good storytelling at the end.
Yeah, we try.
Well, I think you do, and we'll talk about that new album here in a second. But earlier you mentioned, college wasn't for you. That's not the route you were going to go down. You worked some odd jobs to pursue music full time. How difficult was that decision, and what gave you the confidence to stick with it,
I
or
never
was it
really,
ignorance?
well, you know, it'd be unfair to say it was a decision because it was just a pull. Like anybody who's gonna be an artist, uh, you either do it because you just are dim-witted, or you are full of passion. You have something that has to come out. And unfortunately, I was that. I just have to do it, and I had to be creative. I had to write. I had to sing. I had to perform. All these things just needed to be. So it was never really a decision. It's never something I gave myself a second out or never thought about again. I never gave myself an option to quit. I've always been told that. Uh, Music and anything in the arts, not about how if you're the best. It's about are you willing to take no longer until you find your audience. So that's kind of what I'm too stubborn to quit.
Well, it seems to be a good call. You've been able to do this for a few years now, and along the way, that journey, you've had a few stops as well. You were on America's Got Talent, The Voice. What impact did being on stuff like that have on you and your career?
Oh, they're massive. Like you can't really pay for that kind of promo. So it's really amazing when it's given to you. The first time when I did America's Got Talent, it was just I was naive. I just didn't know what it was going to be like. I was unsure of how to play the game, so I just did what I was told. So you're going to sing this, I'll sing this, and you're going to do this, I'll do that. And I walked off that show not really feeling like I had done anything that sounded like me. And so when The Voice came at me about 5 years later, I initially was kind of like, eh. Uh, but I said, if you'll let me like write my own script for who I am and what I do, and you're not going to try to make it a sob story, just let me be me. Then I'll do the show. And they said, okay. So then I pretty much picked every song by hook or by crook. Like I chose what I chose, and I went down with the ship when I did. But I'm really proud that I chose songs that feel kind of like who I am.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's an important lesson because as I've been doing this long enough, one of the things that always, I guess, not amazes me, but really shows how difficult this industry is and how hard it is to sometimes be yourself is how many artists say, when I finally found my sound, my lane, where I wanted to be, things clicked, everything clicked. And it sounds like you got that lesson a little bit early. And you also had a cool thing along the way, I think, in between there, where a broken guitar string at a Nashville whiskey jam led to touring with Miranda Lambert for 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, my life, if it was a movie, you would swear is fiction. But yeah, I was in Nashville for like 2 weeks, and went into this bar. I had gone to every bar, like, hey, can I sing tonight? Can I sing tonight? Thinking that's how it worked. That's not how it works. But I went to this one bar, and they said, "Man, sorry, it's whiskey jam tonight." Which, is, if you don't know, it's a Monday night event. It's been going on for 13 years, 14 years, something like that. And so I said, okay, sorry. And so I went to the next bar, and about 30 minutes later, this guy comes back and he's like, hey, man, somebody canceled. Can you play 3 songs for us? I'm like, yeah. And so I borrow his guitar and I strum one chord and I break a string. I'm like, oh, no, this may not work out. And so uh, there's 400 people waiting for me to do something. So while I'm fixing the string on stage, I start beatboxing like a you know, and people start going crazy. This other guy jumps up and he starts singing like Pony from Genuine and Usher, and like we're doing 90s hip hop night, and I'm beatboxing. This guy's singing. Well, Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert, who were married at the time, they walk in. She thinks we're some hot duo and pulls us outside. She goes, "You want to go on tour?" And so, literally, 3 weeks after I was in town, I was on tour with Miranda. My first show in Bossier City, Louisiana, and for the next 3 years, we did the Platinum, the Locked and Reloaded, and the something. Yeah, we did like 3 tours.
I mean, like you said, when you think back along the way, I mean, could you have pictured things like 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 that. I mean, like you said, it's like a movie script, but it happened. Things have
I
happened
know,
to you.
I know, and we've all seen that movie, and we're like, oh yeah, like yeah, right, that's gonna happen to somebody. But my life has been such a funny life, and I'm so grateful for it. But I just keep hoping that nobody's if I'm on some sort of level where people just good things keep happening. I hope no one ever discovers it and says, hey, he's had too many good chances. So I just keep riding high, riding this wave.
Well, and it's led you to this. Like I said, your new album, "Rest of My Life," is out. It's your first full length album in 15 years. Why was now the time to go down that rabbit hole again and do something like this?
I think it's because I've done so much changing. And I used to put out albums just because, I had enough songs. And then this time around, after being married, after becoming a girl dad, after I am not the man I used to be. And so and when you go to my shows and certain places that had a big love for my first couple of albums, I would get frustrated when people would call out songs from my very first record that I had no identify. I was like, I don't remember the guy that wrote that song. So I need to give everybody an update on who I am. And so it just felt like the exact right time to put a record out called "The Rest of My Life," because I feel like this moving forward is like the timestamp of who I am today, and everything from now on is a culmination of who I've been. And here's a next place, the next corner I'm going to turn.
Well, and you talked about this earlier too. Um, this is kind of more of a soulful record. It's got a lot more of that. You hear it on a lot of the tracks, even the opening track. How did you approach making this record then? Like, what was your mindset going in?
This was a lot of trust because I had never made a record like this. I'd never made it with a team. I had always just done everything bootstrap on my own. So this is the first time that I ever had people in my corner that believed in me, that knew how to use the marketing machine, who knew how to tell me how to pretend that I like doing social media, all that, Uh, and so this was a lot of exercising trust and faith and giving up control. And because of all those things, and I've learned to really embrace it. I love letting people do what they're good at, so that I can do what I feel like I'm best at.
Well, and when you look at the track listing too, and take a look at the notes section, where I think for some of us it's real fun to see how the songs came to be. You co-wrote about half the songs on the record. So what was your approach to finding the right songs? Because you have a nice mix of songs that you wrote and songs that clearly you felt were you, but they came from someone else.
As a songwriter in Nashville, uh, there's nothing that I've had more joy about other than putting out my record, is when someone else loves a song you wrote that they want to record. Like I've had AJ McLean, Backstreet Boys, Chris Young. I've had Josh Abbott from Texas. Like I've had a bunch of people record my songs, and that pride of being like, "Hey, I came here to be a songwriter, and look, and you can show your mom and dad, like, look, I'm not stupid." Um, and so I really wanted to be part of that for anybody else's story too. Like I know that I'm not as big as some of these artists, but if I can get one guy to go, "Hey mom, hey dad, look, I'm in the right town. I did the right, look at what I'm doing." That means a whole lot to me. So I wanted to make sure I gave back to the songwriting community that's given me so much. And that's kind of just how I went around picking songs, was listening to people that I respect and admire. Uh, one of the songs on there called Pretty Face. I sang the demo for 10 years ago, and it just sat on a shelf. And I was like, can I have that song? They said, it's always been your song. So it's been an incredible thing to make this record.
Well, I was going to ask because Pretty Song was one of those that is kind of an outside cut. What drew you to that? Because in a sense, I feel like that almost could be about your now wife.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of a perfectly written song. Just like I didn't write Stuck on You, but people will associate it with me for the rest of my life and the rest of their life. When a song is that good, it doesn't matter who sings it. Everybody can attach it to their emotion. If it's sung well, then you're going to want to give it to your wife and be like, hey, maybe I can't sing this song as good as this guy or this guy, but this is my heart. And I think that is the true gift of music, is that it is a gift that we can all share, because sometimes the song says what we can't.
Absolutely, and it's cool when we can see ourselves in the music. One of my favorites on the album, you're talking about this beforehand, before we hit the record button, is the track that kicks it all off, and that's "Waiting For." How
Mm.
did that song come to be? I feel like, as we've talked, you grew up in church. There's I can see little bits of you sprinkled in that song for sure.
I mean, I wrote that one, and I wrote that the hook. Since I found your love, no way I'm ever letting go. Like I was on my way to a songwriting session, and I was like, man, I would love to write a song that just feels super catchy in a 10-second window where someone on TikTok could just say, hey, I love you. And here's 5 pictures of how I love you. And here's a song that plays in the background. Because like, I just want to write a song that has 10 seconds of your interest that you can share. And so I wrote that, just that little bit. I had no idea that it was going to be how we opened the song. I had no idea that it was going to be the opening of the whole album. I just said, I've got this one section. I took it into the songwriting session with 3 incredible writers, and I think an hour later, it shook out to this song that I'm so proud of. And I'm so glad that whatever was in the ether that day, that gave us the inspiration to finish it as the way we did. Uh, and then we added like a gospel choir into the production. And I mean, it was just as a culmination of so much good that went into writing that song, that I hope it's one of those timeless songs that people can share forever.
Well, like I said, it's one of my favorite. It sets the mood, I think, for the whole album. Another track that is pretty cool is "Rest of My Life," which is the title track to the album, which
Yeah.
focuses on your role as a dad and a husband. How has fatherhood changed the way you approach things, and what was it like to record that song?
You know, fatherhood has changed everything, because in this day and age, like you, as you know, you have got your daughter. They can, if they want to, they can access anything we say and do for the rest of their life, because we're not going to be around forever. So everything we do matters. We are under the most important microscope of all time, and that's our daughter's life. They have to grow up knowing the character of who we are. So I feel like everything I do has to be something that I'm proud of for her to see. And so when it came to recording that song, uh, I just kind of carried that vision, as well as everything else. This is the rest of my life, and that's my gift to the audience who finds this record and who listens to it. Gives me a chance, and I hope they embrace it, because it's something. If you can take 3.5 minutes, then you're going to get to know me. And that's what I invite everybody to do with this record.
Well, and like I said, I've loved everything that I've gotten to listen to. I mean, like I said, it's out now. Was there a track that you were most excited for fans to hear off the album?
Um, I think one of the most fun ones for me was called "Love's Gonna Get Me Again." To be honest, it felt like the most symbiotic kind of song between country and soul. Uh, and this record was so much fun to make, and that one felt like the glue, where there's so much very soulful, there's so much country, and this one felt like the perfect mix. As I'm picking songs to play at the Grand Ole Opry at my Opry debut on June 27th, in case anybody wants to come, I have a feeling that song's going to be in the mix.
I like it. I like it. Well, and speaking of the Opry, you have that pretty special show coming up on June 27th, like you said.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got your debut invite from, of all people, your dad?
Ugh. Uh, Absolute surprise, shock. We had held this like bourbon tasting music listening party. So I thought all we were doing was listening to the album. I was going to play a couple of songs, and I paired all of my songs with a different bourbon. It was a really great event. If I do another one, I hope you come. Uh, but after I sang my third song, my dad walks up on stage, and my dad's known to have very loose whenever he has a drink and he wants to say something, he can regale on. And so I was like, oh no, what's he gonna say? And he starts going on about how proud of me he was, and how I've been given all this talent, blah blah blah. And I shouldn't say blah blah blah, but for the sake of moving the story along, blah blah blah. And then he hands me this envelope and says, "I'm honored to present you this." And I open it up, and I don't even think I read all of it. I just see the word Opry, and I know what it is, and I start bawling, and he starts bawling. My mom comes up and hugs me, and she's like, "Can I hug you?" Because like I'm not big on like public display of affection, right? So my mom comes in, "Can I hug you?" "Yes, mom, hug me." So it was an incredibly special moment, and I'll never forget that.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, one to get the invite is awesome, but to have your family behind you, because like you said, you took a maybe unique path there with saying goodbye to college and things like that. So I mean, what does it mean though to have their support and things like that? Obviously through all of this, because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't. It's hard to get certain places without the love and support of family.
Absolutely. I mean, and I know that I've tested them on every level, and I've definitely learned how to be a parent from watching their patience and grace with me. Uh, but I'm a 47-year-old, 25-year overnight success, right? I think it's been so much of a reward for them, as special it is for me to have them there. It's just as special, and as you know, like everything your daughter does that is special, and you get to celebrate from a whole different perspective, and they get that too. And I look forward to that with Annie. So I just know that in the back of my mind, everything that I'm doing is making them even more confident that those hard decisions I made earlier are the right decisions now.
Well, like you said, you've had success along the way as well. You've had a lot of your songs cut from different people. What's your approach to the songwriting aspect of things? Because, like you said, that one day you had the idea of, I just kind of want to make a TikTok song in a
I
sense,
know.
but I mean, obviously, you also write songs that probably aren't for you; they're for someone else. I mean, what's that approach like, and what's it like to kind of figure out if it's for you or someone else?
Um, that would be something that would probably an easy question for someone who thinks about things a lot. But I'm so from the gut on everything, and I've trusted my gut, and I'm very God based, very Christian as far as my beliefs go. And I have a lot that I just kind of put up in faith and raise him up and say thanks. Uh, so I'm not much of an overthinker when it comes to the process. I just try to write songs that I believe in, things that make, I don't use language that I wouldn't use in real life. Like there's just words that I don't like to say, you know? Uh, and so because of that, my songs feel genuine and they feel natural because I write them that way.
I love that. And then when it comes to telling the stories and sharing experiences, I mean, what's it like to go that route on a song and either get personal or just have a random idea that pops in your head?
I love them getting personal. I think some of the most incredible songs that I ever related to when other people wrote them or sing them is when I can feel how attached they are to that lyric or how they deliver songs with such integrity. And I think that if there's anything that I could say, third person looking in, is that if people who don't know me on a personal level, only from the music, probably like my music because they believe me. And I think that is something that if I had a gift of anything, it's not the best singer, it's not the best songwriter. I think I'm really good at emoting. I'm good at making the audience feel what I want them to feel. And that's mostly because I believe it. So I think a lot of it comes down to integrity, serving the song, and being honest.
Well, and I think that always shows through when you're true to yourself and you pick songs that are you, and at the end of the day everyone can see that. And you touched on this a little bit earlier, but what is the hardest part about being on the road for you that most people wouldn't expect? Is it that lovely gluten allergy that makes food a little difficult?
I mean, it's definitely a challenge, right? But nowadays you can just get, bun. I had a bunless burger today for lunch, and it was great. It's sad in the moment because you're like, I want to have that properly eaten burger receptacle, but you don't always get that. The hardest thing for travel is probably just when you have to travel alone. Like tomorrow morning, I'm catching a flight uh, to Canada again, and I'll be gone for. It's a short run, 3 days. But because it's so short, I'm going by myself. Usually, the longer runs, I'll take my family with me. But that's for 2 or 3 days that I don't get my kid. I don't get to do bedtime. I don't get to do story time. I don't get to play, ride bikes and hit baseballs. And it's, I miss stuff.
I was gonna say that. I mean, you can't enjoy poutine either, can you? I mean, I feel like that wouldn't be a good one for you, or would it?
No, poutine's fine because it's just
Okay,
French fries and gravy. But I'm only allergic to bread and pasta, so thank
okay.
goodness.
There you go. There you go. I was gonna say, if you're going up to Canada, you got to get some poutine. I mean, geez.
Exactly. And I can even drink beer. I got a weird allergy, I tell you.
Okay, okay. Because
Yeah.
I was worried about that as well. You talk about you're in the midst of a run of Canadian shows. Obviously, we talked about you grew up there for a little while, so you have a connection there. But you also have a heck of a fan base up there as well, with sold out shows, a good bit of success. I mean, what's it like to cross the border and have success, but also you just of all the places you have success in Quebec, which if anyone knows Quebec, they speak French there because they're a little different up there.
For
And
sure.
so, what's it like to not only cross a border but a language barrier as well?
I was scared to death. I had no idea why they wanted me to come in the first place. But this goes back to that whole remember that movie that you saw that was fiction? That's what this is. It was just another thing. I got an email that there was a woman in French Canada that I was her favorite singer. And this TV show asked if I would show up and surprise her on live TV. So I was like, sure. So I showed up, I surprised her, sang her a song on live TV, and she was great, flipped out. Turns out she's the most beloved comedian in Quebec. And she has had a 40-year career and knows every theater. And 1.5 million people were watching. And she's met me after the show, and she had an interpreter. And they said she would like to know if she booked you shows at all these theaters that she knows, would you show up? And I said, yeah. And so she did. She booked 3 shows at all these theaters. She told everybody that they should come because I'm her favorite singer, and they did. And so for 3 years now, I think we just hit 75,000 tickets that we've sold in the last 3 years and 100 shows. It's crazy.
Now, does your success extend beyond French Canada? I mean, do you go a little further than that?
Yeah, I mean, I have guitar will travel, you know. But 2027, we're going to break into some new territory. We're looking at Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Brazil. I got a huge thing going on in Brazil right now, the Philippines. So yeah, we're trying to see if we can duplicate what happened in Quebec and other places because it looks like people who don't speak English just love me.
I love that. Like you said, it is truly like a movie script, and if someone
Yeah,
has not listened yet, and then someone should write that, because it'd be a true story that people might think is not true. But speaking of clearly, you've got a fan base all over the world. Where are some of the places that you're hoping to travel and do music? Because it sounds like you have some maybe cool opportunities at some point.
yeah. I mean, like I said, Brazil definitely is probably the paramount one. Like I think we're growing by almost 150,000 followers per quarter. Like it's crazy how much they're so into what I'm doing. So I want to go down there and personally say thank you. Australia, the Scandinavian countries are loving it. I'd love to see more of Europe. I just want to go places I can take my wife, right? And my daughter's she's been on 75 flights already, and she's 4. So I just want to take her around the world, play shows everywhere, and I want to give her the opportunity to see something that I never saw growing up.
Well, that sounds pretty amazing, and you talk about being on stage and sharing the music, and to me, I always say it's one thing to write the songs, it's one thing to record the songs, but it's a whole different ball game when you get to bring them to life and share them on stage. So, what's the best part about being on stage for you right now?
Lately, it's just been the ability to talk about the new songs. Like I mean, this album has been such an incredible gift for my life and for my family, and to be able to go on stage and introduce new material because in 15 years from the last full length record, uh, it's important. And so telling the stories behind the songs and giving props to the songwriters and just showing another version of me that they may not know. And some people only know me for the cover songs. So being able to introduce these songs amidst of those parts of the show, I think it's been incredible watching that response because people have been singing my songs now at my shows, which is such a cool thing. Like it's another thing from those movies. You see people in the audience singing back, and I never had that till now. So super happy.
I was gonna say, what was that moment like? Because you dream of it, you think about it, but to actually have it happen is a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing is like sometimes you get that what I call the Ed Sheeran moment because I've seen those Ed Sheeran shows where it's just him and a guitar and then a sea of people holding up their cell phone lights and I was like I've never had that and I didn't experience it until last year and then I was up on stage in Quebec and I look up I sing with my eyes closed a whole lot. I look up and there's just this incredible bouquet of lights everywhere, and even some like old fashioned lighters. And it's amazing how you could pick those out. But I was just so taken aback by that gift of love, and because we as artists give as much as we can and we try to, but you don't always feel it back because some audiences are very reserved between songs. Some are hoot and holler, some are drunk. You know, you never know what you're going to get. But by doing that, they were in it and they were giving that to me, and I took it with so much excitement. I think I put the guitar down and just laid on the stage and just said thank you. And yeah, that's a moment that'll live on.
I was gonna say that's one of those memories that you'll never forget,
Yeah,
and you talk about being able to share the new record with the shows that you're on now. I love asking this question because at the beginning of the show I love to ask what you're drinking. You've got a few options that you could have gone with.
sure.
I'm curious to see what option you will pick on this one, and that is what is your favorite song of yours to perform live right now?
Um, Love's Gonna Get Me Again is one of my favorites. Pretty Face is so much fun. Waiting For is another song from the new record. Uh, but from an old album, I would say Till You it's what it's called. It's just a song I wrote about my wife and daughter. And as you know, like if you can ever squeeze both of those into one song, you got something special. So I think those are the ones that I'm really into right now.
I love it. I love it. And I also love asking this because I know Pretty Face wasn't technically about your wife. Till You though was kind of about the relationship. What's it like to play a song like that for the people that it could be about?
I mean, it's incredible. Like, I mean, when I first ever started writing songs, that thing, I guess that's the aspect. I haven't thought about it till you asked actually, but that's the aspect of when I 15-year-old kid, and I learned how to play three chords on a guitar, and I'm strumming, and I'm singing some half-ass song, and there's some girl that I've been pining over that I catch her eye, and she's looking right back at me, and that moment of understanding the magic of music and that has never stopped. Like when I sing those songs to my wife, that magic is still there, and that's what makes the music so real, and the magic of music so real.
Like I said, I love that, and you're doing the Canada run. I think you also got a couple more shows coming up there this summer, CMA stuff as well. What what shows can you tell us? Not get yourself in trouble. Any more shows coming up? Any more travel coming up this year?
You know, I've got lots. I've got some Texas stuff. I've got some stuff in the Northwest. uh, Florida. I'm kind of I would love for this album to help me get into regions that I haven't hit a lot before, and I think that's another reason I'm doing the pairing with Rare Character, the bourbon, because I think that bourbon community is so hungry for the bourbon that maybe my music will find its way into audiences that don't know who I am, and maybe I can find other pockets of the country. Because as much as I love traveling internationally, I would also really, really love to have some stuff that there's a lot of America I want to see. And so, if you're listening out there and you like my stuff, please find me and let me know what venue I should come play.
I was gonna say. I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of shows and different things that you're hopeful for, and so much that you want to see. Any true bucket list places that you want to go? I mean, the Opry's got to be one of them, and you're going to accomplish that this summer. Anywhere else?
Yeah, I never thought as big as the Opry. I mean, I've done Madison Square Garden with Miranda, and I never dreamt that big. But this trumps that for sure because this was a goal that was attainable enough to be real, but not something I thought I would deserve. And so I think I'm going to just take the Opry as what it is, as so special. And I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm not going to try to exceed my uh, get above myself. Are there things like Red Rocks and the Gorge and stuff? Yeah, but I think right now I'm very happy to take the Opry and my debut as an opportunity to just say thank you to my Lord and Savior once again for everything He's done for me.
Absolutely. And my last question to wrap up everything is obviously you put out the album, fantastic album, folks. If you haven't, go give it a listen. You won't regret it. You got shows coming up. What else can folks expect from you the rest of this year? What are you hoping to accomplish the rest of 2026?
I hope that I can have uh, enough people see what I'm doing on and off stage to where they can say, I like that Dave Fenley guy. And maybe uh, this record will help push people into a place where I want to hear more of that. Because I've been so, uh, I'm not going to say pigeonholed, but I put myself in this position where I was doing cover songs in order for people to see me. Like look at me. And now that I'm finally giving people something that shows who I really am, I hope that they'll follow me down that path and they'll continue to listen, even if it's not stuff they know.
Well, I think they definitely should because the album "Rest of My Life" is fantastic. I'm glad I went down that rabbit hole because the album first track to the end is has been wonderful to listen to, and then to go back and listen to your other originals have been pretty amazing too. And then to see that you're a girl dad and like bourbon. I mean, I don't know if it gets any better than that, man.
Yeah. So when are we going to party together?
I don't know. You might next time we're gonna have to get you up here for rare character and so forth. But man, Dave, thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing those songs and the journey with me, and sharing a good pour too, man.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me.